She's currently leading by about 2/10 of a second away from that, as Steve has fallen down to 15th place, be jumping up to 5th. Roblox currently in 3rd. HVSK following right behind him in P4. Moshi now falling to P6 as Speed jumps to P3. That is your leader currently for this race. As we are on lap 3, 25 more laps for the race in front as Vika is out of the race. We have a lot of action around. Speed dropping down to 12. Steve dropping, rising to 9th position. And Mushy in 5th. The order is just changing every single second. There's a lot of chaos happening as the gap between the top 10 is 6.4 seconds. You know, this race is a lot of action going on right now, as Just Maxi is trying to gain on that in the McLaren. The McLarens are running 1-2 as HVSK in the Red Bull trying to gain points. Roblox in the Haas in P4. Ante in P5. Deutsch in the Williams. Steve and Speed in the Audi in P7 and 8. Mushy P9 in the Ferrari. And Ojim in the Haas in the top 10. And Fire now jumps to top 10 with Ferrari's doing in 7th and 10th position. Not that great at the start of the race, but who knows? Mushy could just turn everything around. It's 2 seconds already. The McLaren driver is trying to show dominance to see how good he is. Steve and Speed not having the best time yet after Steve just won the race round 3. If you remember, the Audis were leading as both of them very well. In Netherlands, you saw that Steve won the race and Speed came P3. The Audis are in a very good place right now, but this race is not what they were expecting. How good will it be? Let's find out as the next couple of laps unfold. What's happening in the top 10? Notably for second place, HVSK and Just Maxi are trying to go head to head against each other as they're coming very close. Mushy and Steve were having a battle. Now it's a battle for 4th place. With Mushy, Roblox, and Steve very close to each other. Will Steve come out on top? Will Mushy come out on top? Or will Roblox come out on top? Steve gets the overtake done on Roblox, jumping to 5th position, right behind the driver in the Haas. But the battle is still not done yet. And the battle for second place shows that Just Maxi is leading from HVSK. Have 4 retirements, namely Hub, Milk, Haas, and 4 retirements already. But 6 laps is absolutely crazy. How will this race turn out? And our top 10 is surprisingly still the same after a lot of changes that have happened. This race is very chaotic as Max is still leading and is increasing the gap very slowly. By lap 2 he was at a 2-second lead, and by lap 6 by lap 7 now he has a 4-second lead. So as the laps are going, he's slowly increasing the time it takes to the lead. As Speed gets the overtake on Dwidge and Steve gets the overtake on Mushy. As now the Audis are in 4th and 6th place. They're trying to get this World Constructors Championship as much as possible after what has happened in the previous season. They are looking for a repeat as they dominate this entire season. But the McLarens are doing an extremely good job with Max and Just Maxi. But for the Constructors Championship, mainly right now is a battle between the McLarens and the Audi. As our four retired drivers, we've only 15 more left currently racing. But lap 8, they are looking pretty decent up at the front. And Steve gets the overtake done on HVSK. Things are extremely crazy right now. The Audis were not having a good beginning of the race, but could this turn everything around? As they are in currently P3 and P7. It's looking very risky for the drivers right now. But will they be able to do it? Main question. But we will see. Steve and HVSK are going head to head as Steve comes out on top. Just Maxi is falling down. The Revenge Arc and the Resurgence Arc, both for Audi, is beginning right now. The beginning of the race, they went all over the place from the top to the bottom of the group just a second. But it looks like they have everything they need. Steve looking for that race win. And he's 7 seconds behind Max. And HVSK is a couple of tenths behind Steve, as the gaps are now increasing to 19 seconds from P1 to P10. How the times are changing, we will never know. As most of our drivers coming around to turn 1 to start lap number 10. Steve not able to catch up as his time is not going down, is slowly increasing. Mushy is going down to P10. And now to P11. The driver in the Ferrari is not having a good time. Oh wait, he was in the pits. He has pitted early on a set of hard tires. Hoping for that durability as he spun off a little bit around the inside of the track. He's not getting the traction yet, but will he be able to catch up in a couple of laps? Even at fact trying to battle for the first position. But Bax is just too good as he's not able to catch up to the driver in the McLaren. After Steve's win in the previous race, he's not doing comparatively well as Just Maxi jumps to P2 back yet again. Steve dropping down position as he is, I think, he's in the pits. A very nice strategic pit stop from Steve 3900 as he only drops to P4. Having a battle right now with Firecroft Cargo and Dwidge 2007. As now Steve only drops down to P5. Steve in P9. As they have just hit. Who currently has a fast lap? It's of course, it's Mushy. And now Mushy in P13, instead of gaining, he's losing a couple positions. But hey, Mushy is very good of a driver, so he could pull off something extraordinary. Steve right now doing pretty decent on the hard tires. Never mind. I think he's on the soft tires, trying to overtake the driver in front of him. Firecroft Cargo on the hards. Looks like Steve has the inside line and is able to overtake him. No, not yet. But the gap between the top two is increased to 12 seconds, and the gap between P1 and P10 is 36. Wow. He went from 1 second in lap number 2 to 36 in lap 12. And there are about 17 more laps left in this majestic race. How will it go? We will find out very soon. On board with Firecroft, who just got overtaken by Steve in the Audi. And now he's aiming to get to HVSK, the gap slowly reducing to about 1.3 seconds. As he comes across the line to start the next lap, the gap is now reduced to just a couple tenths. Will he be able to get the overtake done? Or Soft's the best choice that he could possibly have made? We will find out very soon. Steve is getting extremely close to HVSK. He's just behind him right now. And he gets the overtake done. Now Steve is in P3. Right in front. Now they're neck and neck. Steve and HVSK are having a battle for P3. It is very close between them. They're going wheel to wheel, but it looks like Steve has the upper hand. And going into the next S-Benz, he does. Steve will get the overtake done as HVSK goes around the outside. He leads. His next target is just Maxi, but he's about 5 seconds behind. Will he be able to catch up? We will find out in just a couple of laps as half the race is over. There's just 15 more laps left. He now jumps to P4. The Audis are making what I think is the biggest comeback he could possibly ever make. Speed and Steve are trying to get that 1-2 to keep him in the World Constructors Championship. And hopefully even in the Drivers Championship. It looks very good for the two drivers right now. Going in to lap number 15. Gaps are still the same between the top two, and Steve is getting extremely close now to Josh Maxey, and Speed is not coming close, but he's defending from Anti very well. Speed is trying to hold on to P4, and he is doing so very successfully. How will this go though? Let us find out. Speed is holding on very well for Anti. The gap is 2 seconds. The fact is he has led the entire race, which is extremely surprising. Fact is doing well, which could mean that McLaren could overtake Audi in the World Constructors Championship, as they are currently 1-2, and Steve has the fastest lap with a 1:7.9. What is going on right now? We will never know. This race is looking very good for the McLaren team, but you never know. Something bad could possibly happen in these next couple laps. Top 5 are currently Fact, Just Maxi, Steve, Speed, and Roblox. As Mushy is not doing that great, he is suffering right now, and we have 2 more retirements, and NN is not actually retired, we have 1 more retirement. Paul is retired from the race. Mushy Cookie, surprisingly, not doing as great as he did in the first season of PGSS. In the first season, he came first in the World Drivers' Championship, and now it's not looking good for him in these first 2 races, as he is currently P12 in this race. After pitting for those compounds, he has not been able to gain any positions. All of his tires are way fresher than what most drivers have. Even despite that, Mushy Cookie is currently having the second lap. Will Mushy Cookie aim for that fastest lap? Let's find out. But this race is very chaotic right now. Beck and Enan are currently very far behind. About a couple minutes, maybe even 2 laps behind the entire grid, which means Facts. And Steve gets the overtake on Just Maxi, and now is 6 seconds behind the current leader of the race. Facts, 19:05. Steve now coming to 3 seconds. This could be the end of Facts' reign. But his teammate Speed Courageous One is not the best in positions right now. Although he is neck and neck with Ojib Meneza in 8th and for 7th place. Will they get the job done? It is not sure yet. They're having a very big battle in Sector 1. They're going wheel to wheel, but Speed is not able to get the position and is still stuck behind OG Meneza. As Steve is getting really close with about 3.5 seconds to Facts. Facts needs to hold on. This is him praying right now that he gets the win and holds off the great, one of the best drivers on our grid, Steve 3900. He needs to hold him off to get this win as fast as possible. We have about 10 laps remaining in this prestigious track of France. Well, Just Maxi and Roblox are trying to fight for 3rd place, as MM is having a blue flag. MM need to give way to the driver ahead of him, and he successfully follows the rule, just like that. But Just Maxi and Roblox are fighting for that position. It looks like Maxi has it on the inside, but we will never know until the lap ends. As Steve is not able to catch up to the leader, Fact, the gap now jumps at 12.4 seconds to the leader. Is he gonna be able to hold on, or will he fall short? Not looking good for the dude in the Ascol car. With 12.4 seconds, the team needs Thax to make a mistake, and he needs to win the race. As now Steve has jumped to 16 seconds between Steve and Thax. Just Maxi's trailing him very slowly, but Steve is not giving up yet, and he is behind a much slower car. So he needs to get the overtake done, and he will try to give it. And oh, Steve goes off track. Steve slides off the track. What has happened to Steve? As he just slid off track. His tires are not having the friction he needs. This is not looking good for the driver in the Audi. His teammate is not doing that well. His teammate is doing absolutely terrible right now in P9. Now P8. The points are not looking good for the drivers in Audi. Will they be able to maintain their lead, or will they fall short? The McLaren OKX team of Fax and Just Maxi. But Steve is now able to control his car and is catching up very slowly. Fax. Speed is now slowly gaining positions, which is exactly what the Audi team really needs. So they are in 2 and 7. The Haas team surprisingly doing really well, with Roblox gaining points in 4th. And even the Red Bull team is doing partially decent after a couple mishaps that happened earlier in the race in 5th and 8th position, decent points. But Speed now loses a position to Bread_KA. As Mushy now jumps to P11. What has happened to Mushy Cookie? After a horrific start, is now 11th. Behind OG Meneza and 51 seconds to Fax. Twidge is also retired from the race. Twidge is now our next retirement from the race, finishing 14th in this race. With now 13 drivers left on the grid, who will be able to steal the win from Fax 1905 in McLaren? Steve is getting closer. It's a battle for the place right now. But Steve needs to do as good as he possibly can in order to overtake the man in McLaren. Just Maxi is not able to catch up to him, and is able to defend from HVSK, staying in P3. The McLaren is going to score a decent amount of points. Today is a 1-3 finish for them. Let's see how this goes. All battle going on for P6 right now between Fire, Bread, and Speed. They're all very close to each other, especially Bread and Speed. And it looks like speed is gonna get him. But how close are they? A couple of tenths behind. Speed.
Hello, as we welcome myself to the commentary box. Good morning, guys. After jumping out of the race seat, not the best races, but let's focus on the leaders. Dax now leads by 9.5 seconds over Steve. Without the front nose cone, Steve needs to be gaining every single lap if he wants a chance to win this race. Justin, Dax's teammate, is also slowly gaining on Steve. He was 6 seconds behind Steve the 2 laps ago. He's now 3 seconds behind him. Probably Steve made a mistake. HBSK, the very well-known keyboard player, now shifts the controller in P4. Nova in P5, I think it's Haas driver, yeah, he is Haas. Brett, the Rebel driver, in P6, Speed in P7, Anta in P8, Ojim in P9, Mushy after losing his front cone and having a disastrous first stint is, it looks like he traced his front wing now. He's up into P10, he's probably going to try and fight for P9, maybe P8 if Anta makes a mistake. But right now, focusing on the leader, Steve pulls another 2 seconds on Dax.
Yeah, this race is going crazy right now with Mochi dropping down into the bottom points, and now is only in P10. To Steve is getting very close to the lead, but Dax has been doing a commendable job at keeping this entire race under his lead. Can he maintain it? It looks like he will, but Steve really has to get his pace up. As
it's going to be difficult. Steve pulls another second on Dax.
Steve is now gaining on him very slowly, but with 4 laps remaining, he has to be faster. Speed, on the other hand, is not having the best race of his life in P7.
Steve has gained 7 tenths on that sector 1 alone. If he keeps this up, he can go for the win, you know. Steve makes a slight mistake, he drifts wide. He has to cut the corner, he has to slow down. Oh no! See, what have you done? He's gonna have another warning after coming back on the track.
Steve has made the worst mistake he could possibly commit at this point in the race. Not looking good for the driver in the Audi car, as he just got a slow down.
He's lost 6 tenths now. He's lost 6 tenths over there. It's going to be crucial. 3 laps remaining. He's going to need to gain 2.5 seconds every lap.
He needs to keep his momentum up. He needs to go full road mode. But by that, he has the fastest lap of all. He could gain an extra point for the Audi team. And he's gained about...
Take qualifying laps as he's 5.8 seconds behind now. He's gained 6 tenths in sector 1.
Trying to get it. This is him praying to the gods right now to give him as much speed as possible. His teammate, on the other hand, is trying to fight for P6. But up front, Steve is trying his hardest, gaining as much time as possible. 2 facts. Could he have the last second miracle?
Steve gains 8 tenths in sector 2. Can Steve possibly go for this? It's going to be a stretch. It's going to be 2 qualifying laps, 2 donking qualifying laps if he wants to get this.
And now it's down to 5 seconds. He needs to gain 2.5 seconds a lap. Per lap in order to gain it. But after what he has been doing, it looks very good for this driver. He could.
He's gaining about 8 tenths each sector. He gains 8 tenths in the first sector again.
It may not be enough. He needs to be just slightly faster. As I think he just went a little wide. He's gained 8 tenths yet again. 4.3 seconds. 2 Dax. This is a very dramatic last few laps. Could this man pull off something we have never seen so far in Season 2? As he's coming around Sector 2, what will be the time?
Let's have a look at the Sector 2 times now.
For Dax, and
Steve gained 5 tenths. That's not going to be enough. Steve, he needs to push even faster. Steve, you need to go balls out now.
Full road mode. As Steve comes across the line to start the final lap, how fast will it be? It's just 5 tenths.
Lap, 3 seconds.
The whole time on this lap. I don't know.
If Dax makes a single mistake, Steve's gonna run away with this. Dax, you need to keep clean, Dax. Come on. No mistakes from here. Just bring it home. Final lap. 2 sectors remaining. of the Magny-Cours Grand Prix, round 4
And
of
he gave
PGSS.
A10. One more red sector for Thax, and that's an invalidation, as we've already seen. He's gotten 2 red sectors before. Steve is praying that Thax just makes one singular mistake. And as
One
he comes
CC,
around sector
and
2,
is gonna end all of his hopes. Taking the fast right left now, he just needs to keep it clean. Just bring it home, Dax. You don't need to push. He's entering now the last sector. He's been dominating this Grand Prix from doing a one-stopper, ending on the soft tires without a
Just
nose
1
cone.
second.
He's not going to run
Steve needs
a
to
final
run
corner.
now.
The final chicane.
I don't think it's gonna be possible.
He goes over the sausage curb. Dax going over the line. Takes P1 in the Magny-Cours Grand Prix. Dax wins without a nose cone. Steve comes home P2. His teammate Just Maxi comes home in P3. HVSK looks on board to finish P4. Nova in P5 after having a questionable first stint. He dropped down a few positions, but he's been able to get back up into P5. Feed in P6 and to P7. Otante was with Red for P7 now. Red looks ahead. Red looks like he's gonna get it. It's very close between the top 5, the 5th place to 8th place, but it looks like Speed's gonna take P6, Red P7, Ante in P8. Mushi, after recovering that disastrous front wheel loss, he's come home in P9 on the hot tires. Looks to be still struggling on the final 2 corners. Goes over the sausage, saves his car into P9, and Oji Minezo is there to take the final points home. Does the commentary also get recorded?